Even the way Eleanor Rigby ends is unusual. The final two closing chords of a piece of music are known technically as a cadence, from the Italian word cadere, to fall. When in English poets talk about a dying fall, they mean a cadence. Eleanor Rigby's cadence, chord 2 to chord 1, was once very fashionable in the 14th century. Now, there are lots of types of cadence, but the most common by far in popular music is the perfect cadence, 5 to 1. But listen to these cadences from Lennon-McCartney songs. Yesterday, I believe in yesterday. Or this one, She's Leaving Home. Or another, And I Love Her. All of these cadences are what's known as plagal cadences. What's odd about this is that plagal cadences are almost entirely absent from the music that Paul McCartney grew up with. They're nowhere to be found in the songs of Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Buddy Holly, Carl Perkins, rock and roll generally, or the dance band music that his dad played, or the Hollywood movie musicals of the 40s that everyone knew, or even music hall. No, plagal cadences come from hymns. The old familiar Amen you used to hear in church is a classic plagal cadence. Amen. When we hear a Lennon and McCartney song, we're often being affected by small cultural details and emotional associations like these, even though we don't realise it. When yesterday ends, it is a dying fall. It is an Amen. Yesterday, love was... By re-establishing the link between modern urban music and archaic forms, the Beatles were enriching their songs and expanding our expectations as listeners at the same time. But their plundering wasn't just restricted to European music. It is well known that the Beatles, particularly George Harrison, were drawn to the mystic teaching of the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, following him first to Bangor in Wales, then to Rishikesh in India. George was a diligent pupil of sitar maestro Ravi Shankar. The Beatles, led by Harrison, took Indian instruments and used their unusual non-Western sounds as layers in their recordings, mainly the sitar, the violin-like dilruba, the tabla drum, the four-stringed tanpura. But their interaction with Indian music wasn't just musical tourism. It was to have an effect on their writing that went far beyond the occasional use of sitar and tabla for a bit of exotic colour. Here's a song originally written while the Beatles were on retreat in Rishikesh. It was called then Child of Nature. On the road to Rishikesh, I was dreaming more or less, and the dream I had was true. Yes, the dream I had was true. I'm just a child of nature. I don't need much to set me free. I'm just a child of nature. I'm one of nature's children. This John Lennon song resurfaced many years later on the Imagine album as Jealous Guy, complete with piano, guitar and strings, sounding just like a regular Western pop song. But its melodic shape gives away its true origin. Before the Maharishi period, John Lennon's tunes tended to be quite static, allowing the movement of the chords underneath the melody to give them their character and their interest. The opening of A Hard Day's Night, for example, has quite a simple, static tune with interesting chord changes beneath it. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. But as his competitive partnership with McCartney developed, John Lennon's tunes became more adventurous, and around the time of his encounter with both Indian culture and hallucinogenic drugs, his tunes acquire a distinctly pentatonic feel. Pentatonic scales are, bluntly, the ones that use just the black notes on a piano. Pentatonic music sounds oriental because it's so prevalent in Asian and Far Eastern music. The Bhupali rag in Indian classical music is pentatonic. Apart from two tiny ornamental notes, the whole Jealous Guy tune can be played on the black notes of a piano. It is completely pentatonic. I was dreaming of the past, and my heart was beating fast. I began to lose control. The shaping of the melody was one of the many ways that the Beatles responded creatively to Indian music. I didn't mean to hurt you. By fusing Western and Eastern idioms, the Beatles anticipated by 30 years the musical phenomenon of Bhangra that was to sweep through the popular mainstream. But it wasn't just their ability to absorb disparate influences that made them tower over the century. We'll see in the next part how they transformed the whole environment in which music is made. What they got up to in the studio in the 1960s has shaped how people make music ever since.